This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or... All right, let's go ahead and open up the Zoom room as we have people in the waiting room and waiting to join us today, as we have an incredible guest that we were just talking. We need to have her on, well, every week, but we'll go for twice a month, and hopefully that'll fit into her schedule. So folks, welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. This program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, but folks, when you give your body what the body needs, the body itself can do some amazing things, especially when it comes to going from poor health to great health, from surviving to thriving. So folks, if you were invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them, as they cared enough about you and took the time to share this program with you, because they knew there would be something valuable that could be that missing piece in helping you reach your health goals and create a better health journey. So if you are here live with us, make sure that you have that chat on, as we have the incredible Marilyn putting information and taking notes for you to help you take notes, because she types faster than we can speak. So she's got you covered there to help you go back. And it's like, what did they say? Well, she's got you. And for those of you who are out on all the different platforms and you would like to join us live, you may do so by going to zoom.dailywithdoc.com. But please make sure that you email us so that we can make sure you are on the list, and we'll let you in. So again, that's zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Go to our website, dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our email, because you don't want to miss an episode or any of the amazing articles that we have coming in our newsletter. Now, without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to welcome to our show our amazing Dr. Randi Shannon. She is a renowned naturopathic doctor, educator, and advocate for natural healing and optimal wellness. Dr. Shannon has dedicated her career to helping people discover the body's incredible ability to heal itself through holistic principles, proper nutrition, and lifestyle balance. Her passion for truth in healthcare and her commitment to teaching others how to take control of their wellness journey make her an extraordinary voice in the naturopathic community. So we are so excited to be diving into this discussion today with Dr. Randi Shannon, as she is going to be looking at things that are in plain sight that she knows. And then at the end of the show, we'll have an idea of what we need to do to figure it out. And she is just absolutely fantastic, as she is joining us here as part of our community and the Daily with Doc and Becca. Dr. Randi Shannon, thank you so much, as I know you've got a busy schedule, flying here and there and doing some amazing things of your own. I am just so honored to call you a friend and to have you as part of our programming as well.
So great to be here. Thank you so much. Barring, I will be flying tomorrow if the airlines are flying. I've heard a lot of stuff about flights being canceled, so I'm hoping, please, no, not my flight, because I need to get where I was going. So great to be back. I love your team. You guys are just literally top notch. The help you have, the behind the scenes people, you guys are just literally 5-star.
Well, I consider myself very, very blessed. Very blessed.
It goes off without a hitch. I do a lot of podcasts and a lot of radio, and I don't ever see teams like this, you know. So you guys really have it going on. But yeah, I mean, I'm here because I'm talking about the fact that we're the most over-medicated, undernourished nation in probably the history of time. And nobody is even asking why.
They're not. And what's really sad is they're starting to make chemicals more affordable to put into our bodies.
Yeah.
when that's not what our bodies are needing.
And people get excited about that, but medicine itself isn't broken, it's literally bought. So
It is.
it's up to us to make a difference. And, you know, we're not in the business of managing people, we're in the business of helping people to heal. I don't ever say that I cured this or cured that. I say that I help the body with my knowledge of nutrients and what I'm looking for. I don't do it. The brain is the brilliant part of our body that goes to work and gets that job done. Not me, not you. They could never, you know, really string anybody up if they just realized, you know, if somebody is out there with all the cures for cancer, they're not really curing cancer. The body is doing it. Just has to have the right direction and tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, Dr. Randi Shannon, she is the founder of thebodycan.com, where she offers some amazing services that I find near and dear to my heart and totally 100% believe in, which is one reason why today we're going to be talking about decoding our body's signals, the distress that's in plain sight. So, Dr. Randi, can I turn this over to you? Tell us about what you do and why.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, illness isn't the problem. It's actually the message. And so when I do what I do as a naturopathic doctor with a super niche, most doctors are not looking at this. They're looking at one thing, just like a medical doctor does. So in my field as a naturopath or a holistic or whatever you want to call it, because there's different names for this field, I'm the one with the knowledge of the nutrients, but most of my colleagues, unfortunately, cherry pick and they listen, you know, if they're hearing one ailment, then, and I see it all the time because I belong to a bunch of health groups. They'll say, okay, there's this rash on the face. What do you think it could be? And a lot of them don't associate gluten or anything else with it. So here's the bottom line. What I do, I look at faces, fingernails, tongues, and other marks of concern on the body. And then from that, I know which systems and which organs are in trouble. Why would we think that if you cut a tree in half and you look at that and you can tell if it's been exposed to something or how old it is, that our own bodies aren't telling that story? They are. And so every crack, every crevice, every bump, every rash, every line in a face means something. And it's always associated with an organ or the body system as a whole. And so I have an academy on this. I have a master class that I teach on this. This is 5,000-year-old original medicine. So some of that's repeat for, you know, your older, more veteran audience that's heard me a few times on your show. But hopefully the new people are like, wow, I've never heard of such a thing. And so what I do is I go on different shows. I used to be a Fox affiliate talk show host, and I did that for 8 straight years. During the lockdown days, I was speaking out about it before that. And the month of the lockdown, that's when the show after 8 years got knocked off. Okay, so they didn't want my voice out there. That's fine. I go on everybody else's show, and I got to tell you, my quality of life is so much better. I have so much fun. I get to meet all these people. I get to travel around the country again and put on lectures and do keynote speeches, and it's great. And I love that I get to go to different crowds and different audiences because they haven't heard of this before. So when I come on a show like this or Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, which I'll be back on again in December, when I go on shows like that, I talk directly to the crowd. I talk to the audience, and they may call in and ask questions. I I never give the full scope on there because really somebody does need to come to me to let me take a look. I don't like to have my hands tied behind my back. I like to be able to look. I had somebody message me that they had like 2 really bad things last night. I don't remember what it was. And they said, what can I take for that? And I said, it doesn't work like that. You need to get scheduled. So I'm not going to be that doctor. I would be a terrible doctor, honestly, if I did something like that and didn't get to the root cause, because that is my specialty, is to take a look. So for me, that's what I like to do. I like to help the whole body heal and not just, hey, I have a gallbladder problem. I don't like to just help them heal the gallbladder. I like, okay, what were the other reasons that came about?
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because many times we have things going on that we're embarrassed to say.
Yes.
Especially when we're on a show like this or on the radio. And those are important factors within that. With what you're doing, you're scheduling an appointment, you're focusing on them as a whole individual.
Yes. Yeah. And believe me, that's what they want. They need that. So, somebody mentioned once, they had, I think it was kidney failure. And somebody was speaking for me and they said, oh, well, this is what she would give. And I said, absolutely no, that's not what I would give. Nobody speaks for me. I'm the one who speaks for me. If you've got that kind of an issue, believe me, you want me to tell you the whole picture. You want me to figure out, okay, why did this happen? Where did illness sneak in the door? And then again, this is just the sign, but it wasn't probably the original. So we're looking at everything. It's lifestyle changes, it's dietary changes. Most people don't know to look. Well, I mean, if you look at Dr. Gundry, I can't remember his first name right now, but maybe it's David Gundry, I can't remember. But he talks about the oils and he tells everybody to eat the oils all the time. Okay, he's a medical doctor, he's a cardiologist. But if you look at him, he has super white hair, snow white hair. And is he cherry picking a few other things? Yes. So can he help his life a lot? Yes. But he's also shortening his life by taking those oils, because in my opinion, they actually are the #1 cause of heart disease. I also think that they're the #1 cause of cellulite. Nobody thinks about that, but they are very thick. They go through the blood and they just like that, it's just like tar going through the body. And then all of a sudden the legs don't look so great. So you eliminate that and you do the things to clean it up, which it can be a whole host of things to get rid of that. And then all of a sudden the skin looks great again and you start feeling good again. You're not so tired, because heart disease makes a person very tired. So basically what I do is, let's say you, for example, have somebody that's got an issue. It's better to send them to me instead of you cherry picking just like maybe 1 or 2 things to give to that person. It's better to send them to me, have me take the whole look, do a baseline for them of the face, fingernails, tongue, and maybe they've got something showing up on the body that they didn't want to mention, okay, to you. Maybe they have an STD and they don't want to mention that to you, but they will tell it all to me. And that's okay, because nothing phases me. Nothing. There's nothing I haven't heard, nothing I haven't dealt with. And so I will then put together the whole protocol for all of the issues, whether it's kidney, liver, digestive, the lymphatic system, maybe it's the brain. Okay, maybe the complaint is, I got gray hair when I was 30. Okay, I already know I'm going to start looking at the heart immediately. Okay, and so what I do is I'm very explanatory. I give them a report. If they do my bigger program, they get a full report, and it's going to be specific to them. And it's going to break down what I saw, face, fingernail, tongue, and any other marks of concern on the body. I'm going to address every issue they told me, but I'm going to also address all the issues that they had no idea they had. And that is usually mind-blowing to them. and they'll say, wow, I'm so glad, this was like so worth it to do this. And then from there, I put together the actual protocol that they need, not just one or two things that they think might make them feel better, or they're just going to test this out. I put together the whole protocol of what they need, and then I fire that off to them. And, you know, let's say Sherry is working with the company, and Sherry was the one who sent you to me. Great. I send that back to Sherry, not the report, because that's private. There's HIPAA laws. I'm bound. Okay. And so I will send her the protocol, and she'll help that person put it in. Or I have an assistant that does that. She puts it in, and then we handle that protocol for as long as they are a client. And then once they're done with my program, maybe it's 4 months, maybe it's 5 months, maybe it's 6 months. Some people come to me for year-long programs. My programs are all over the board. And I have 2 assistants on my side, Nick and Julie. So if you don't get Nick or Julie, then you're talking to the wrong person about my program, okay? Nick and Julie are the only ones besides myself that would ever go through any of the programs, because we have different programs for different things going on with the body. Maybe they only need a tongue analysis where I look at the top and the bottom of the tongue. That tells me a lot. That's going to tell me kidney, bladder, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, stomach, hormone, heart. Okay, all of those things are in there and more. And so that's a great possibility. That one doesn't come with a full written report, but it does come with 4 or 5 months of appointments. So I'm also a doctor that's very hands-on. All of my programs come with, if it's a tongue analysis or a full face, tongue, fingernail analysis, they come with many months of appointments. And if it's things like cancers, that could be a year long, easy. And I see that there's a hand up. Are we taking questions? I don't know if I should.
We'll take questions in a moment. That is AJ. AJ, do you want to ask your question now or towards the end?
A little later, please.
Awesome.
So that's really how my program works. So when I go on shows, a lot of times the show's host will become affiliated with the nutrient company, because there's mainly one that I use. Sometimes I have to go outside of that one. Why do I use the one main? Because everything they have is clean, no synthetics, no fillers. And sometimes people, like I was going on a big show once, and the lady said, Dr. Shannon, I don't think that we can use you because you use ascorbic acid. And I said, you mean vitamin C? So the point is a lot of times people don't understand, or if they talk about maltodextrin, the whole world says maltodextrin is no good. Well, most of it is no good. They're right. But the company I use for their maltodextrin, it's an organic rice out of Canada. So you have to follow the sourcing all the way and know. And I wouldn't buy anything off of Amazon ever. The thing about Amazon, and I've experienced this firsthand, is Amazon, there's people, not Amazon Direct, but there's people that will copy a label directly, and they'll make it look like that product is from Longevity's corporate themselves, and that's typically not true. Most of them are just a copied label, a copied logo, and but at the end of the day, most of the ingredients are sourced out of China. It's not Longevity corporate. I've talked to them directly, and they said, we do not have a site on Amazon. Okay, so somebody else is copying the label. It could be fake. It's these things have, when they put the fake ingredients in it, it could be gluten. They're cheap up front, but they're very costly to our health. They, like I said, sourced out of China. Most of the products that are on Amazon in general are a white labeled product. So we've all seen those big Maersk barges, and they're full of these huge, I guess, like a train car, if you would. And those are full of ingredients. They bring it over here to warehouses around the country, not my company, okay? But these Chinese products, and then they divvy it up, and they might have 1,000 makers, all with their own label. And you think, wow, that label looks really good. It must be good. It must be a good, clean product. But at the end of the day, it's Chinese. So if you're not getting it directly from me or from you, the agents in the field, then it's probably not coming straight from the warehouse, which is air temperature controlled, and you know it's the real ingredients. So the fake ones, they have hidden allergens in them, gluten being one of those allergens. They'll stick that in there as filler. And there was studies done in the past. They've done it on ginkgo biloba, they've done it on selenium, and they'll take what looks to be the best product that you could imagine, and then they test it to see how much selenium is in it. And it might be 10% selenium, the rest, some kind of filler. So if you're a person with, say, cancer, do you really want all that fake stuff, 90% filler, 10% of what you were really trying to get? So, you know, they have very low potency. It's what you see on the label is not what you're getting. So personally, if you care about your health, in my opinion, so I don't get sued by anybody later, I would never, ever, ever get something off of Amazon that would go in my mouth. Never. Okay. Hopefully I made that pretty clear.
And I want to add to that, because I've had people come to me say, hey, I've been taking the products for years. I'm like, okay, where are you purchasing them from? Because they'll be a customer from mine from 9 years ago if they don't have any history. And this, oh, I've been getting it on Amazon, but this last order is expired. Can I get it replaced? No. Try going through the you know, the store that you bought it through on Amazon to get it replaced. And
yeah. You got to go to the trusted places, the trusted supplier. This group here for sure is.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And, you know, this is one reason why I wanted to make sure that we are a solid resource for the longevity family, for the whole community, the community of certified holistic health coaches. But there are some times where we have a customer that is adamant about wanting to talk to a doctor. And that's one of the reasons why I brought Dr. Randi Shannon on and continue to invite her, because that's who she is. And she totally believes in this product that we believe in and the power that solid nutrition can do within the body. Well, you give the body what it needs, the body itself can do it. So thank you so much for touching on that whole Amazon topic.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Near and dear to my heart, because, you know, people that are going there, they're just not going to get the result. Those things that they're getting are fake. They're not third-party tested. Nobody knows what's really in them. Not
or where they've been stored.
What if it was in somebody's literal 100-degree garage? And these things are not supposed to be stored that way. So,
Well, and that's another thing, like essential fatty acids. You get them in heat, they're going to stick together.
Yeah.
So you really want to make sure that you are not getting compromised product, folks, and that you are getting it direct through. They say distributor, but I don't keep a stockpile of product that I have to resell. We're associates that are independent. The product comes directly from the company. And if you want to know everything that's going on and what you need completely head to toe, Dr. Randi is the person to go to get that full body analysis.
That's it. That's it. And people love it when you hold their hand through their ailment. They don't like that once and done. There's a lot of famous naturopaths out there from like the COVID days that were incredible people for speaking out and, risking everything to be able to get the word out. But at the same time, they're not really the hand holders. So they get a lot of clients, but at the end of the day, they're so busy because they're doing all these speaking engagements that they don't really take the time. They'll charge you an enormous amount of money, and then you're gone for another 6 months. And I've heard it over and over and over. So that's really bothersome. And so I pride myself on the fact that we reach out and touch every single client that I have, literally every single month. Whether it's a text or a phone call, it doesn't matter. We use a system that basically is popping them up in our feed every single day so that we know, okay, I've got to touch base with this person and this is what was going on. Because you can imagine with thousands of clients, it's not, whatever's going on with them is not always in the forefront of my mind until they pop back up in my screen. But there's certain clients that I'll be in touch with every couple of weeks, and every single one of my clients, and this is 100% across the board, as long as they're active with me, they have my personal cell phone. And I literally tell them, even though our appointments are once every 30 days, I don't care what you need. If it's product related, whatever, you'll talk to my assistant. But if it's health related, I don't care if you're having diarrhea, you're feeling nauseated, you're feeling fever, whatever is going on with you, make sure that you pop me a text and I'll give you a call. So I don't hold to, you bought a 6-month package, I only talk to you 6 times. I'm not that kind of doctor. I actually will talk to them over and over and over till we get them past whatever is going on. And that's typical with cancer clients or people with arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. I just had a client that had been being medicated for, I don't know, 10, 20 years for rheumatoid arthritis. And I asked the questions, and of course they were many, many rounds of antibiotic. And I said, when was the last time you were tested? You took all that antibiotic. When was the last time you actually tested for rheumatoid to see if it was even still active? And it had been a long time. So I said, well, can you go get that done? So I do always refer people back to medical doctors. I'm not against them at all. I need them for so many things that I don't personally do. And testing is one of them. And so they went back and they asked questions, and the doctor literally told them, I couldn't believe it. When they first came to me, it was for rheumatoid. So I said, okay, I take your diagnosis and I will tell you what to do about it. The goal is to always get you off of a prescription, because all statins have side effects, okay? All medications have side effects, It's a 100% across the board deal. So if you're healthy, the goal is to get you off of all of that. So when she came to me for rheumatoid and a handful of other things, I encouraged her to go back and get a fresh test, but we went ahead and put together a protocol because she was in a lot of pain. And so we're addressing the arthritis, but the rheumatoid part is a pathogen. It's a live pathogen and must be killed. And so when she went back to the doctor who had been treating her all these years for rheumatoid, they literally just told her, and she put it in a text to me. She said, they said, I don't have rheumatoid arthritis. I said, well, what are they medicating you for then? She's like, I don't know. I said, well, this is confusing to me because you came to me for rheumatoid arthritis.
So they're medicating her for something she doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And I know, looking at the side effects of many of those pharmaceuticals, she's been poisoning her body.
Yes.
Which has then led to several of these other things that she's now experiencing.
Correct. She's in a lot of pain, daily migraines. Cracking was all over the tongue. Can't sleep, hormonal issues. It just went on and on and on, all the things that she's dealing with. And did the statins contribute to it? Probably. Listen, if somebody has arthritis, they don't need medication. They need nutrient. They need lifestyle change. They need dietary change. And that goes really for most every so-called disease out there. They need a lift up. If there's a dog in a corner and somebody's kicking the dog, what is the dog gonna do to get out of that corner? It's gonna bite, it's gonna attack, okay? We don't keep attacking a sick person, but that's what the medical community is doing. They just keep attacking. And then that body is trying to fight to get out of that corner. And it's gonna take a dive. They're gonna get sick. You know, and maybe that's not the best analogy, but you're just beating it up and beating it up and beating it up. And when the body is sick, it needs a lift up, not more beating. Okay. And so how do you lift it? Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, essential fatty acids, some herbal tinctures. Okay. Good diet, removing all the antagonizers. That's what we do. That's what we focus on. And we get to the heart of that with 100% of our clients. So that way the whole program works.
Can I tell you a confession?
Yeah.
And this is really embarrassing for me, but when the light bulb switched for me and I figured out that the medical system was failing me, I had so many years where, yes, I read those possible side effects. And I told myself, well, that's not going to happen to me. They're just possible.
Yeah.
And so many of them, so many of them are things that I started experiencing.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to worry about them. I've gotten to the point where most of those side effects are gone. I don't have to worry about them anymore. And it's been all through nutrition, diet change, and lifestyle change.
Yeah, that's it. If you stay consistent long enough, these things are going to disappear. And if they're not disappearing, then you're not going hard enough. You know, some people have said, oh, but the orders are so big. Well, listen, I'm not the pricer of the nutrients. I can't help that. But what I do is I look and I see what is going on, what is wrong, and I give it to the dose that it should be. And certain areas, I go even higher. Okay. And that's because the body needs that. That's it.
Yep.
And then it eventually the ship will right itself, but it can't if you're not giving it anything, if you're continually kicking it, you know, like a cancer person. And listen, that's a personal walk for people. People can do what they want. I don't tell anybody what to do. But if that fell on me, the last thing I'm going to do is beat my body up more with a derivative of mustard gas that's going to hurt every cell in my body. I'm going to nutrify my body. I'm going to stop the antagonizers, and I'm going to lift my body up and get it better. And if I have to take an abundance of things, okay, I'm going to do that. I am going to swim and bathe in nutrients because my brain will recognize that, and it can go to work then, and it can fight for me. If I keep beating it up with a chemotherapy or anything else, then it's now fighting the new problem. Make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. Absolutely.
So it's a mess, the community, the medical community, the way it is, unfortunately.
And that doesn't mean that all doctors are bad.
No.
Some of them don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. A couple of my doctor friends, trauma ER doctors, I've worked with them for over 20 years. They're some of my best friends in life. And yeah, I like them because we have really deep conversations, and they'll say, and I agree with them. If I come in some dire straight situation, I'm probably pretty much not going to care what you got to do to me to keep me alive. Okay, I'll leave and detox later, but for now, keep me alive. That doesn't mean I'm, you know, down with putting the jabs and things like that in me. But if there's a life-saving drug in that moment to stop the bleeding or to, you know, knock me out so that they can do a quick surgery, whatever, in an emergency type of situation. And that's what they've said to me. When you're in that situation, you just want us to keep you alive. And then what we do is do that, get you stable, and we send you to the next guy. Because they don't really, I've asked, do you ever like see them ever again once they're out of emergency? And the answer is pretty much no, unless somebody really got to their heart or something, then they'll go visit them to make sure they're okay. But otherwise, once you move on to the next, then, the trauma guys are done. So.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Shannon, we have, it's Dr. Randi Shannon, folks. I want to make sure everybody has her name fully correct. We have a question wanting to know, do they have to go to you in Florida for an assessment, or can it be done virtually?
Yeah, it's everything. 100% of what I do is virtual. My clients are in all 50 states. They're in over 20 countries now. And, I have them in Jamaica. I have them in Nigeria. I have them all over Europe, down into the islands, up into Canada, down in they're everywhere, literally everywhere. So no, basically the way it works is people just send me pictures. My phone is loaded with pictures. Okay. And it's good that they're on my phone. So that's why people get my personal cell phone. They can email to me as well, but I prefer them there because it's very easy when I'm on the fly to just pull up and go back to the originals, and I do comparisons and I can screenshot them and put them together. And, for example, I have a guy that's got a pretty dire straits cancer. He was given basically less than a month, and that was 2 months ago. The family called me from the hospital bed and they said, do you think that there's hope? He does not want to do chemo. And I said, I always have hope. And so, they sent me over everything and we put him on a program. The family decided this is what they wanted to do, and they're pulling out all the stops. It's 2 months later, he's still alive. And in fact, he just texted me while we're doing the show because they can, because they know they can. And, I have lots of stories like that. And it's not me that's healing them. It is their own body, because they loaded the gun, if you will. You don't go into a gunfight with an empty gun. They're loading the gun so that they can actually win that fight, or at least have a chance at winning it.
All right. So I just want to make sure that it's clear that when we as health coaches, longevity distributors, refer a person to you,
yes,
they are still our clients.
100% they're your client. Yes, yes. And you're involved in that whole situation. I'll schedule them. My side of the team will actually schedule them, take the payment, describe the packages, because we know them in and out. We know when we need to tweak something, and that comes from those phone calls. We're all experts at that. My team on this side. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do all the scheduling, etc. We keep you in the loop. In fact, AJ is one where he sent somebody to me and I said, AJ, they're really not going to be ready for another week. Okay. And I think it ended up being like 2 weeks. And as soon as they were in, we already have our notes. So when somebody calls up, let's say from this show, all you have to do is say, hey, I talked to Albert. Hey, I talked to Marilyn. I talked to Becca. And that's where you will stay connected. But we do all the work with you up front. And when our package is done, you either can renew or you just carry on with your monthly orders through them. That's your actual rep. Okay. I'm not trying to be your rep. I'm trying to just do the analysis and get you better, but you're always in your rep's hands. So, yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that's clear, because I know that as I'm looking through the people who aren't on here, there are many of them who are amazing longevity reps. They use this program as a resource and sharing and bringing in clients to get that awareness. So I just want them to rest assured that when you refer somebody to Dr. Randi Shannon, they come back to you as the client. She keeps their private information, but you get the order and what it is that they need.
That's it. That's it.
So, Awesome. Well, are you ready to take some questions?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, AJ, you're up first, my friend.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shannon. And I do have multiple people that I've sent to you and who are thrilled to know you. So,
It's exciting. And I love helping because, you know, they'll stay more engaged if they're getting the actual result. If they're just cherry picking and only getting like one thing and then the issue doesn't go away, let's say like a blood sugar issue, okay, or a bone and joint issue, because only a few things were being addressed. Now the whole thing's getting addressed. And we do say, we understand budgets. We say, you know, if you can't get it all up front, what you paid me to do was to actually tell you the whole story. And so that's what I do.
well, it's, I've had some success with helping some clients. But it would be stupid of me to think that I know more than a naturopathic doctor. And I can recall one of the clients that I sent your way. And by the way, I do have a question, but I can recall one of the clients that I sent your way, assuming that I knew their budget, and and so I got them something to help with their blood sugar for about $100, because I talking to them, I'm making an assumption.
Yep, most
They
people do.
talk to you and they got the whole boatload, and I'm like, what's going on? Where'd this money come from? But but the bottom line is, once they talk to a professional like yourself, and listen, we're all health coaches. We've all helped people to a degree, but once they've talked to you, they got that comfortability, and I can think of another client who I've been working with and I sent your way, and that's the one that was the time factor, I think, but they also were dipping their toe until they spoke to you and really are addressing things in a way that I couldn't even have assessed. I remember the one visual of there was some damage, and then you kind of indicated candida.
Okay.
There's no way I would have been able to. I would have said some sort of fungus, but I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Or maybe I wouldn't have said fungus. I would have said gut issue, but I would not have said fungus. So, your service is phenomenal. But the question I have is, given that we work with nutrition a lot, and we deal with more physical things in the body, and elbow pain, or heart health, or I'm very interested to know how you work with folks, or what might be a difference when they're dealing with mental problems like schizophrenia or some other mental issue. Is there something that we should be looking for? What can we do to help these folks?
Yeah, usually if it's schizophrenia, it's a year-long program, because these people are, they're on drugs. Usually they're on some sort of a prescription. So the families work with me typically for 1 full year. The goal is to get them off that medication, or at least to something lighter, because usually when there's schizophrenia, there is real issues. However, there are other programs, even outside of me, that are in other countries that I recommend those families to go to. We just had one go down to Mexico, but they had a episode before they could even get into the program. So they got them off of the meds. Those meds are really, really long-term not good for them. So if you're asking, like, what would I give? A baseline for everything that I give.
Well, I guess my question was, are there nutritional strategies that you
Absolutely, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. And then there's even bigger programs. But yeah, I mean, baseline for everything that I would do would be a brain and heart pack. Even if it's a diabetic, I would do a brain and heart pack, because you're getting the selenium in there, and you can always add the secret sauce, you know, and only the reps know what the secret sauces are. So the rep would add that secret sauce in there on top of that brain and heart pack, because brain and heart, it's literally everything from head to toe. So all body systems are going to get affected by that. And the reason I go with that one is because the selenium itself, it has 5 cofactors in it. And those cofactors work astounding in the body when it's all together with the selenium. And unlike what you're going to find in the stores that might say 100 micrograms of selenium, this really is 100 micrograms of selenium plus the 5 cofactors on top of that. So we don't play around. What we say is what it is. Okay. And when you're dealing with people with things like schizophrenia, you know, we have all kinds of brain products. I would be putting them on that. And then we have things that are more calming, and I would be putting them on that. So, and also you got to remember, as a naturopath, I have rules that I have to live by. For example, I'm not allowed to diagnose, treat, or prescribe. So they've got to come to me with that schizophrenia diagnosis. Okay. And then prescribing, well, that would be going to the pharmacy. So I'm not doing that. And treating, everybody has their right to do the program or don't do the program. Everybody has free will. So I abide by those boundaries, and I don't claim cures. I already explained that. So I'm within the bounds of what I do. Okay. So yeah, when it comes to the brain, we have lots of things for that. Secret sauces, but brain and heart pack would be the baseline. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Becca, I have 2 more quick ones.
Okay.
You know, Dr. Shannon, I appreciate the fact that you spoke about the different additives in our products, or like the maltodextrin and some of the other ones that we always get pushback on.
Okay.
From people because they're unaware, and I was unaware. What you mentioned, that one is from Canada, an organic source. I was unaware of that. I mean, that's so I'm really appreciative of the fact that you've deep dived into each and every product that you provide for folks, so that you're confident in what you're suggesting that they take to improve their bodies.
Yeah. Sourcing is everything for me. And I'll say something here, which I believe is going to be one of our future shows. And I may be traveling around the world for this one. And I heard somebody, I got on a call last night and I heard somebody use my exact line, and they said what I say, which is, if I grow a head of lettuce in, say, Minnesota or Wisconsin, I'm going to find certain things in the ground there. For example, selenium, since we were talking about that one. But if I grow that same head of lettuce down here in Florida, there's no selenium down here. So my head of selenium up there is going to be rich of that potentially, not down here. So that's why supplementation is incredibly important. The other thing, going kind of a little off of your topic real quick, is blood work. When somebody goes and has blood work done, they'll say, well, you know, your selenium levels or your D levels, let's go with D. Your D levels are fine, you don't need any. Okay, but I need D tomorrow too. That's great, it's showing up in my blood work because I took D, so I'm good. But I still need it tomorrow. It's essential. The people doing the blood work I don't know if they just don't realize it or what, but if they see things in the blood, they go, oh yeah, you don't need this. Oh yes, you do. Oh yes, you do. So at the end of the day, and this audience has probably heard it 1,000 times, that the human body must have 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids every single day. And I also throw in some herbal tinctures and cholesterol. And a lot of the audience that may not be aware of that are like, what? Cholesterol? What are you talking about? Yes, cholesterol is actually about 20% of your body. We need it. Makes up the brain, makes up the reproductive system. Okay. And so when we take a cholesterol lowering drug, we're turning that off. And you wonder why there's like 14, 15 different forms of Alzheimer or dementia now. It's because people are shutting off their cholesterol.
And ED.
That's just another, it's just another side effect. It's just another side effect.
Mickey on YouTube has a question. Ma'am, I take grocery store calcium because it's cheaper with 90. Now I read calcium can deposit in arteries. Please advise what symptoms are too much calcium deposits. Thank you. Love this show.
Okay, great. So the calcium that you're getting is probably, I'm sorry, just no good. I'm not a formulator, but whenever I have a question about the products, which is why I know about the maltodextrin, like the sourcing, etc. I just know that what we're sourcing is the proper kind. And maybe actually Becca, because you've been on plenty with Doc, because he's talked a lot about the calcium. Tell the sourcing of the calcium if you know it offhand.
I don't know it offhand. It depends on the product.
Yeah.
Because there is a little difference between the different products.
Yeah.
But the big thing is those cofactors.
It is the cofactors. They're incredibly important. And so I personally I think what I'll say on that is I just wouldn't buy that one. And whoever you are, send a message to one of the team and we'll get you the exact information, because there's 5,000 products. Okay. So we'll get you the exact information of the sourcing of the calcium so that you have that. I know this, and I've heard it 1,000 times from Dr. Wallach, that the version that they have is not the same as what the traditional market is doing. And, you know, this is another example. A lot of people are buying like the sea mosses for the minerals at the grocery stores. But I did a deep dive on that one about a week ago. And I don't remember what the question was that somebody had given me, but it was about the sea moss. And I said, you know, it's all the rage and everyone is getting it. I even bought some. I didn't love it, but I bought some. And then I said, you know what, let's just see what the sourcing is. Where's this actually coming from? Because we have a lot of that off of our coast. So if I go get it off of this coast, it's probably pretty dirty. And so I tried to track one of the biggest ones out there that's selling it right now, all the rage. And they're very secretive of where they're getting it. And there isn't a lot of testing. So what debris is in that? So I had ordered some and it came with all the sand and everything with it. So which beach did they scoop that off of? I don't know, but I'm not eating it either.
No.
Okay.
And one thing that I can say about calcium, because I mean, I was on calcium supplements from the time I was 8 years old, because that's what my doctor told my mom that I needed. When I was 15, they were wanting to scrape the backsides of my kneecaps because I had calcium buildup.
Mm-hmm.
I was just taking a coral calcium, nothing else added to it.
Yeah.
And I had arthritis and I had bone issues.
Yeah. And the thing is it's not really, and the medical community gets this wrong, and I'm taking this directly from Dr. Wallach, that basically the calcium isn't causing the heart disease. So the study is off that was mentioned by the lady. And I don't think it's her dealing with it. I don't know what she's dealing with, but it's really a lack of what they call bioavailable calcium. And that's what really is going to contribute to high blood pressure, to things like heart arrhythmias and spasms, muscle cramps. It's lack of. And so it's got to be put in. And, you know, so as far as their sourcing, I can't tell you for sure, but I do know that most all of theirs are very evenly, looks like AJ knows, but they're evenly balanced. Magnesium, K2 is in there, boron and other trace minerals are in those. Go ahead. I know you know the sourcing.
Well, no, I don't know the sourcing, but you know, Doc always says we don't use ground up rocks, right? We use,
Yes,
you know, plant derived source calcium.
correct. Yeah.
And then even some of the products use the micellular technology, which makes it even more absorbable and smaller, etc.
Yeah,
We're not using foundry calcium.
exactly. And I think that's what the bulk of what is going to be in that grocery store or on those big box stores where you can order things and have it sent to you so fast in 2 days. I think most people are getting the ground up rocks. So,
Yeah. And one thing, when I had a discussion with Dr. Wallach, I said, well, Dr. Wallach, how can our body absorb rocks? He said, well, if your body can't break down the food you're taking in, it's not going to absorb anything,
exactly.
rock or otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I can't believe it's already been an hour. We're at the end of the show. I know that you've got a busy schedule. I want to make sure that you get on to your next appointment without having to rush. If we could get the co-hosts up on the screen with us, you know, folks, it really does make a difference what you put in your body. And if you're not telling the whole story, then the whole body is not being treated the way it should be treated and given the nutrition that the body itself is screaming for.
Yep.
With these symptoms. Dr. Randi Shannon's services go through and she looks at areas that give even a deeper look into the body that most doctors, well, I would say 99.92% don't even look at.
Right.
So I love the fact that we do have you on our team as part of our community in helping us to truly help people get to the root cause of what's going on within the body. We've got Barbara saying, let's have Dr. Randi Shannon on more often. We agree. And as her schedule allows, we absolutely will. So folks, you can get more information and schedule an appointment by going to the website, thebodycan.com, click on the menu, go to schedule, or there's 844-275-1056. Get a hold of one of her assistants to schedule an appointment that way as well. Olga is saying, thank you, Dr. Randi Shannon, Becca, and the wonderful DWD team. Well, I think we have a wonderful team. So thank you, Olga, as I love you're part of our community as well. Dr. Randi Shannon, thank you for being here with us today. AJ, your hand is up again. This is the boy with all the questions.
Yeah, I can't get enough. So, Dr. Shannon, let me ask you this. If I were to first engage with a client,
yes,
and they've not become officially my longevity client yet, can I still send them your way? What
100%.
what do
Yes.
I need to do? Just tell them to give my name?
Yes.
What do I need to do?
Your name, your number, that's all we need. And then we connect it right back to you. We don't want anybody's client. We just want people to schedule. That's it. And then we send them right back to you. It's all yours. It's all yours. Remember, everyone, that the body can. That's why it's called the body can. And it will heal when you give it what it needs. It will. So.
Absolutely. So folks, go to that website, The Body Can, schedule your appointment, get in, you'll find all the information at your appointment, you requesting a consultation, and just start living a better by the minute life. Create that health journey that you want, or allow your body to do it for you. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us for this past hour. Special thank you to Dr. Randi Shannon, also my team, as we have Albert down in South Africa. Thank you so much, Albert, as it's in the middle of the night for him there. Thank you. We have Marilyn doing a fantastic job in the chat, taking notes for us. We have Sherry, who's part of the tech crew, making sure that the stream goes out to the platforms and have sound. And we have AJ, who has helped us get on all of these different platforms. and keeping an eye on those platforms as well, bringing in questions and making sure I don't forget anything. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Again, go to dailywithdoc.com, sign up for the email list. And if you have any questions about what's on the good foods, bad foods list, you will find that there. This is the list from Dr. Joel Wallach, who has been mentioned many times on this show. You'll also find more information and articles on our website. If you are not working with anybody, we do have a store there that is available for you to get started with that brain and heart pack. Go ahead and go to the website, click the store. You'll find that there. Everybody, have a fantastic day. But most importantly, help somebody else find a better health journey as well, and share this program with them. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a